What's going on, Gemini? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a phenomenal month so far. You'll see why I'm excited in a second. But for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Gemini. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. Mary Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. And let me tell you why. Because it is Celestial News Monthly! I know, right? I hope you just get all stoked up, Jim. I was just telling, who was I just telling this? Aries. I was just telling them, I hope you just like, I don't know, something about Celestial News Monthly is just like, I don't know, it's new season, new Zodiac season, new energies, just like, just get into stuff all around here, Gemini. But with this monthly spread, whenever the sun moves into a new sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are at and how we can work with the energies. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Gemini. So I have Zodiac Oracle cards here with each of the signs that the planets and the sun are in. I'm going to pull an Oracle card from this deck for each one of them, and then we'll get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And in case of y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below are some links for some other readers I like watching, so definitely check them out. Very intuitive groups. I think you'd like them as well, Gemini. So, but let's get into our, before we get into your first card here, let's talk about the party that's Virgo throwing, because you got the sun that's entering Virgo, and then your ruler along with Virgo's Mercury is going to start doing their retrograde dance. So brace yourself there. I know we all love ourselves a good Mercury retrograde, but the sun is going to be entering Virgo on the 23rd of August, and that'll be about 4 a.m. Eastern time, and then we'll be there through the 23rd of September. And with this, Gemini, this is really great for kind of polishing up your skills, for getting organized, and really being of service to the community. You know, Virgo is very analytical, very organized, very detail-oriented. So especially if you've been finding yourselves in like a real kind of chaotic state, I feel like Virgo energy really helps bring things back in order, you know, really kind of helps you get a checklist and all that stuff. And with Virgo being a sign of service and things, you've been thinking about doing like, you know, that community work or any kind of volunteering, definitely take advantage of that there, Gemini. But also Virgo is a sign of routine, so this is a great energy for establishing any sort of like healthy routines and kind of weeding out any bad ones that we've noticed that, or any ones that tend to like lower our vibrations there. And then let's talk about your ruler going retrograde. And listen, retrogrades are not a you know, like a negative time like they may come across to be. Mercury retrograde, you know, retrogrades are just a time of reflection, but with Mercury retrograde, you may notice, and I actually haven't mentioned with the other signs, so, look at you, Gemini, but you may notice that there may be some technological issues that come up. Speech tends to be a little trickier when it comes to, because, you know, Mercury being a planet of communication. So, you know, you may notice that you're kind of serving up word salad a little bit more frequently than normal, which I can't wait. I have a Gemini moon, so that should be a fun old time. But and you really kind of pay attention to, if you have a Gemini rising, if you happen to know that, that is something to pay attention, because Mercury rules your chart. So that's going to definitely affect you as well. But during this energy, Mercury's going to be retrograde. I'm about to be all over the place. Mercury's going to be retrograde on the same day that the sun is entering Virgo, on the 23rd of August, and will be retrograde to the 15th of September. And with this, you know, Virgo also deals with kind of like our like day-to-day jobs, and you may experience delays on the job or maybe notice some missed deadlines. But also, Virgo's another thing deals with health as well, and so you may notice some health issues may occur. This is not medical advice here, Gemini. So just making sure that we're, you know, if we're getting caught up on sleep or you know, just paying attention to what we're, you know, kind of foods we're consuming, just all of that type of stuff there, you know, keeping stress levels low there. But also great for reviving any sort of like any old projects or anything that's been left unfinished. And depending on where your Gemini placements are at, this is going to be forming a square with your sign. And squares bring about some conflict. You know, they're almost like tower moments in the sense where you may notice some restrictions, some challenges, maybe feel a little irritated. It's like it's kind of inharmonious energy, but I do find that when you do work with those energies, I feel like squares like towers are meant to show us how resourceful we can be in difficult type of situations there. And there may be a little bit of delays in the achievement. That's not to say that we're not going to have any sort of successes or anything. So just something to pay attention to when you're dealing with this square energy. But let's get to your first card here. All right. But you got the so you got the eighth card of Libras here, which is the blinders card. We want to be mindful of that there, Gemini, because this is a card of victim mentality, confusion, tunnel vision, resist clarity, confirmation bias, restriction, narrow focus, echo chamber, denial, oblivious, out of touch, hyper focus, and concentration. An energy that's coming through here, Gemini, is the confusion. And you know, I feel like with the retrogrades too, this can bring about a bit of confusion as well, but something to just pay attention to. If we find ourselves in a state of uncertainty or just been, maybe we're confused about maybe where our life journey is going or maybe a certain situation, maybe there's something in like a, because just thinking even about with Libra energy, maybe there's some confusion in like some relationships that we may have. I feel that this is a time, you know, retrogrades kind of allow you kind of slow down a little bit into if there is that uncertainty there or that lack of clarity, is like they're communicating these things, like how can we bring some understanding to this, to whatever the situation that this confusion may be. If it's not already doing something, if you notice something in the future, how do we bring that up, bring that clarity back? Because I feel that if we continue to stay in this state of confusion, then it's just like the energy kind of stagnates. And I'm just thinking with the Libra energy again, with the relationships, if this is, I feel like if we, it may be like, maybe for some there may be a difficult conversation to have, or maybe there's something where it's like maybe another's actions don't seem to be making sense or something along those lines here, Gemini. Then I feel like there's a need to kind of just like, again, pause and just kind of get down to the source of what's going on with that. Or very interesting. Because even too, when I'm thinking about it, I really feel like if, especially that's something that you find that resonates with you, you know, really, you can really take advantage of this Mercury retrograde too. Again, just kind of slow down the energies a little bit. And I feel like just to kind of, I don't know, maybe take a moment to just kind of meditate, especially if we've been feeling kind of confused about which direction where we need to go in life. You know, maybe we've been just kind of been on this sort of like one track, you know, how this horse got the blinders, you know, we're just focusing forward here, but we're not seeing the whole picture. Or interesting, something along those lines, Gemini. But let's get some tarot on this and get some details. Thank you. All right, Gemini, let's see what's going on here. Alrighty, so you have the Eight of Wands, the Four of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, and then the Star card here. Now let's start with the Eight of Wands, because I'm almost getting with this energy here, with the Eight of Wands kind of mixed in with this. The Eight of Wands can be a card of messages, and I feel like for some, maybe we've been getting some sort of like mixed signals or mixed messages or something along those lines with either maybe like either this could be a relationship, whether this be love, familial, friendship. It's like either we're getting some mixed signals there. There's a lack of clarity there, or something along those lines where and I feel like it's something that has been, it feels like that maybe for some, if this is not something that's already resonating with you, and if you happen to come across this in the future, it feels that there's a need to, especially if this is gets to this point where it's just like constantly on your head, to just take a moment again and just kind of pause with the Four of Swords to get our thoughts in order, to get things back kind of balanced again, because the Four of Swords, this is Jupiter in Libra, and I feel that if we can get that harmony or that sense of I'm not sure, like this sense of understanding or something along those lines. And I think I might get a little bit more with the Star card here, but if there is something along those lines with this mixed messages, then I feel there is a need to, again, to just kind of communicate this stuff, because this is, the Star card is Aquarius energy, and Aquarius can deal with like friendships and groups that we form, joining groups and networking and things along those lines. So that's very fascinating. But I even kind of feel with this, kind of with the Star card, that in a sense there's, because the Star card can be a card of healing, and I feel that maybe there's even a need to, I don't know, there's something that's like we need to maybe process or something along those lines. Maybe if this is not a relationship that we've been dealing with per se, maybe we're even having troubles, because the Star card can be too for me. It's like connecting with the divine. It's that inspiration. It's the thoughts coming from higher self, and then you manifesting that pouring the water out into the material world here. And maybe we've been maybe we've had confusion about where we want to take our energies next. We know that we want to get things moving and get stuff going, but it's just like maybe it's just like what one energy's pulling us this way, pulling us one way, or maybe pulling us all kinds of ways here. And I feel, again, if we can just take a moment and just kind of meditate on these things, and I feel like that can kind of help finding this clarity, whether this be maybe going out for a walk, or maybe sitting in front of a fire staring at a candle, maybe finding ourselves in a however you get to that zen space, to where your mind's at ease, to where you can really kind of process the information that's coming to you as well. And that might be something too, Gemini, if you find yourselves in a place like, now more so kind of feeling too, if we're thinking about making any sort of like investments, maybe let's say like for like a job, or maybe like maybe real estate or a car, or any sort of like things along those lines, however big or small. But if there's still this sense of uncertainty or something along those lines, just making sure that the energies are, that things have been clarified here. But let me get a little bit more with the Star card here. Thank you. Okay, Gemini. All right, so the Star is clarified by the Six of Wands and then the Hierophant. And I feel that for some, if we are in this state of making some sort of investment, the Star can be also a card of unexpected help. And the Hierophant is a very wise energy. This is Taurus energy. And I feel that if we're uncertain about some things, that maybe it's looking to a more stable figure to kind of help figure out like how to take the next steps on this journey. Because the Six of Wands is a card of victory, but even though a lot of this stuff on this journey we do, we're doing by ourselves, like it's a balance. There are times where we need to do things with ourselves, and other times where we need maybe some guidance for some others, or at least some opinions or something for some others to kind of help kind of move this thing along, to kind of help the transformation and the metamorphosis kind of move along here. And I'm also feeling too, that maybe there might be, for some, there's this almost like disconnect, maybe for some, like with our kind of with our higher selves, future selves, ancestors, however we connect to the energies, Gemini. And there's a need to maybe kind of check within more, to kind of to help sort of process this information, or these energies that might be coming through, because it just feels like the Eight of Wands is giving me that there's a lot that might be kind of going on, maybe either currently, or that things may be going on in the future. And there's it's like a need to where, and then I know I just said that we need to connect with others as well, maybe for some. But if we've done that, once we've taken all this information that we have from what we can, it's really connecting and going within, because and just feeling what really kind of resonates with you, and where things are trying to guide you, or something along those lines, Gemini. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I think I'm gonna leave that there. So yeah, just a little something. Well, not if you didn't already have enough on your plate there, Gemini. Just a little something extra to think about. But let's all right, let's move on. Let's get some tea, and let's move on to Leo energy. Because with Leo, you had Venus, that's been she's just been making herself at home. Venus is gonna be retrograde in Leo into the third of November. Or excuse me, of November. She's not chilling that long. To the 3rd of September. And with Venus being retrograde, this really is a great energy for finding that artist within, finding different mediums to express yourself. Venus deals with art, well, one of the aspects, art and bringing beauty to the world. Leo is a super creative sign, and so this is a really great, and Gemini, yours is a very creative sign too, with how inventive your minds can be, how quick your minds get to turning. You can really make the most of this energy. So, and the kind of nice thing here too with this, depending on where your Gemini placements are at, this is going to be forming a sextile with your sign. And sextiles after trines are, they're fortunate energies. The flow is very easy. It's very collaborative energy, but it's also very passive. It's something that it's potential. It's like when an opportunity, they're like the aces in the decks. It's one thing. You have this opportunity to do this. It's like, do you choose to water it, or do we want to kind of move on and let this, kind of move on to the next thing? So that's something to think about with this Leo energy. But another thing, also before we kind of get into your oracle, is that this energy is really good too for kind of building up your self-confidence as well, kind of focusing on those aspects. Virgo season, we're going to get into a very reflective type of energy with so many planets that are getting ready to go retrograde during this season. So just just something to be aware of there, Gemini. But let's get an oracle on this. Oh, all right. Look at all this Libra energy. I'm waiting on her. We're about to talk about Libra next. But you got the 7th card of Libras here, which is the biker card. And with this is a card of lone wolf style, impervious, nonconformist, standing up, breaking rules, brotherhood, enjoy the ride, loves freedom, moving on, outlaw, maverick, swift actions, and need for speed. Energy that's coming through here, Gemini, is the loves freedom. And Gemini, if you've been feeling that you've been feeling restricted in any sort of way, whether this be by a maybe a situation that maybe it's a living situation that we're in, or maybe it's a relationship that we're in, something along those lines. I feel that it's really, and again, considering that we are in a very reflective energy right now, it's like, what can we do to kind of change that up, to kind of free things up, so that you feel that you're not so restricted? Because I do feel like yours is a sign that needs to, not even necessarily needs, but definitely benefits from being able to kind of get out there and just kind of learn and grow and constantly just keep accumulating knowledge in a sense, and then putting that into practice and gaining, developing that wisdom, But, and I feel like more so just, again, again, with Libra energy dealing with relationships, I feel that, because it's not that I feel like that Gemini, and this is where and I was talking with a Gemini about this not too long ago, maybe about a month or so ago, but I feel that Gemini energy can be misunderstood because you are the communicators of the zodiac, and I feel like that some feel like that, oh well, that means Gemini's flighty, they're all over the place, and no, it's just like you're fun, you're gregarious, you're spreading the good word, learning stuff around, and I feel like that if it's it's one thing if we're indulging in shenanigans, but it's a whole other thing if you're just being just your fun, witty, all that, just sociable selves. And I feel that if there's this energy of, again, like maybe someone that's trying to keep you restricted in any sense, and again, this doesn't necessarily have to be love, this could be family, friendships, anything like that, then we may need to put up some boundaries, or at least have a discussion. It's like, yo, this isn't going to work. Like, how is it that, like, however this conversation needs to be had, but it's, because that was something that I had personally, like I told you, I have a Gemini moon, and that was something with my last relationship where, I'm all for doing stuff together and all these things. There are times where I need to go out and kind of do my own thing. And my thing was, whenever they wanted to do theirs, I was just like, okay, bye. Like, no, please go out, because sometimes, like, I don't even need to go out, like, I just need some space. And that's where I feel like it could be even just as simple as a conversation as that, or hmm. And maybe that's where even the confusion is too. Maybe we're not understanding where, and I don't even think that it's that you don't understand, but it's like, or how do I want to put this? It's like maybe we feel like that we're doing something wrong, and it's really more so coming from an innocuous place, but it's being seen as something other, or maybe it's being turned into something that is, let's get a little bit let's get some tarot on this, Gemini, get some more details. Thank you. And Gemini, let's see what's going on here. Oh, there's your opposite sign. Alright, Gemini. So you have the Five of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the Temperance card, Sagittarius energy, and then the Hanged Man, Neptune energy. And let's see, where do we want to start? Let's start with the Ace of Swords. Because with this, especially if we've been feeling like there's this, I almost feel like that there's this new idea, or at least maybe there's been this thought of just of wanting to be freer, or in some sort of aspect. I'm not, however that may be looking like in your situation here, but I will say, if this is a relationship, for example, where I do understand that need for freedom. There is a level of balance that comes into the mix here, but with Libra energy, we want to be mindful of being too compromising, or I'm even getting an idea of, because like it feels like with the Five of Cups here that maybe for some it's just like we're not pleased with where the situations we're at right now. We're kind of disappointed with where how things have gone, or maybe how people have reacted to how maybe you deal with either forming relationships or something along those lines. But with the Temperance card, I feel like there's that balance that is coming into play, that if we're not getting that sense of, for some, that sense of, if you're not getting what you're giving, then I feel that we need to take a moment and pause and to kind of reevaluate some stuff here with the Hanged Man and figure out, is this really where I want to, is this really how I want to keep operating long term and keep in this state of just like, just not, and that's not like, I feel like it's not necessarily like where you're feeling miserable or anything, but it's just like it's just like a disappointed, or just like it's like not a true fulfillment. It's just like we not quite what we may have thought this would be, or something along those lines. Like, let me get a little bit more with the Hanged Man here, Gemini. Thank you. Interesting. So the Hanged Man is clarified by the Four of Wands and then the Six of Swords. And I feel like with this, with the Four of Wands being here, it's I'm almost getting an energy of, because the Four of Wands can be a card of marriage, and considering that you got the Four of Wands and the Hierophant here, both are kind of strong, sort of like matrimony type of cards, marriage types, and it's not saying that we're leaving our relationships, Gemini, but it could be with the Six of Swords being here. It's just like, hey, how we've been operating up until this point isn't working. How can we go about this in a different way? I feel like it's just like restoring that sense of balance, just with the how we had the Temperance here earlier, and just like maybe it's this seed is you just like planting a new idea of just like, like of just like of change or something along those lines. There's a need of adaptability, or and then just of a fresher perspective, of just a newer way of kind of looking about some things. And like, because if this is like a jealousy type of thing, that we've noticed that, or like it's that can get into some kind of that gets into tricky territories there, whether that's with because I feel like Gemini energy really can't be, like, for the most part, really is not one that, if there hasn't been any indicators otherwise, I feel like Gemini's like pretty much, they're like, okay, you be free, I be free, and then we'll come back. Like, it's like, in order, air energy is not meant to be confined, it's meant to roam free, but it's but Gemini, I do feel like that it's, again, you will want to be mindful, because if we are again getting into some sort of shenanigans, that's not fair either. We have to be, there has to be that reciprocity, that understanding there. So Hmm. And one kind of one more thing I feel like with the Six of Swords, like kind of getting away from the relationships a little bit. If we've been just kind of been just feeling restricted in a situation, like, maybe we found ourselves where we maybe at a job where we've kind of plateaued and haven't grown, or because Temperance is Sagittarius energy, your opposite sign, and they're all about growth and expansion and higher learning, things like that. And there's something that has hindered that. I feel there is a need, kind of with the Six of Swords, to explore newer options, to see what things have, what new things that life can bring you. And it may feel a little. It could possibly feel, a little precarious at first, making that jump, that leap, whether this is changing in new jobs, moving to a new location, whatever that is. But I feel that having that release of those restrictions on you, I feel can, I don't know, it would, I feel like it would bring more relief than you would realize, Gemini. But I think I'm gonna leave that there. So all right, let me get these organized here, and then since Libra wants to be talked about so bad, let's talk about Libra energy. Because you got Mars that's chilling in Libra, and Mars is going to be in Libra from the 27th of August until the 11th of October. And this is a great energy for creating new alliances and then strengthening existing ones, because Libra deals with partnerships, like one-on-one partnerships of all kinds, and you may notice too that you're more friendly and more thoughtful towards others, and a really great energy for diplomacy and anything and things along those lines. But we do want to be mindful of repressing our own feelings in order to keep the peace for others. So especially if we've been kind of, maybe in order to, we're trying to keep this balance, but we're feeling like we're like a caged bird or something along those lines. We want to be mindful of that there, Gemini, and depending on where your placements are at, this is going to be forming that. I remember that nice little trine I was talking about. This is going to be forming a trine with your sign. And trines are the most fortunate aspects. They really bring about, it's very harmonious, very kind of brings almost like energy is like extra luck and opportunities. It's like obstacles are removed out of your way. Very, very great flowing energy there, Gemini. So definitely take advantage of this. You're in a really cool kind of spot, I feel like, right now, as far as like how you can kind of work with this stuff that's going on here. But let's get an oracle on this. Thank you. Let's see what we got here, Gemini. All right, now we're switching it up. All right, so you got the 6th card of Virgos, which is SAP card. And with this card, this is a card of resources, needed materials, flow, wealth, essence of life, spring, blood, nourishment, sweetness, energy, vitality, grounded, roots, abundant, physical health, and life force. And the energy that's coming through here, Gemini, is abundant. And how funny that would come on that trine energy that I was talking about. And I feel that with this energy, especially with this state of, just really, I feel like especially if you've been in the state of, like, I don't know, either kind of just sort of wandering through life, or just been, or even been feeling restricted, I feel that when we're feeling in a lower vibration, it's hard for us to really feel that sense of abundance and feel the opportunities and things around us. And if you haven't been feeling that energy as of late, then those are indicators that it's time to take some action and figure out how we can change. How do we get this energy moving again? With the 8 of Wands being here, let's see, evaluating 7 of Pentacles, how we've been investing our stuff, and And really just, again, like asking yourself, what would make you feel abundant, and then figuring out, and you don't have to have that solved like right now, Gemini, but it's just like starting to think about that stuff, and like what steps can we take right now to start moving that ball in that direction, and then keeping that momentum going there, because abundance is all around, it really is, but it is a matter of perspective. Hanged man, that it comes down to when it comes to that. And because even in the toughest of lessons, that's even like this was like relationship stuff, and things kind of went south there. Even if that didn't work out as you planned, what you did get from that is wisdom. We're talking about Hierophant, temperance energy. You got that wisdom from like this is what you love in a relationship, because if this is a relationship thing, you got with that person for a reason, so we know what we like, and then when we got out of that, we know what we don't like, and also what others don't like about us, Gemini. We can be fair, and then it gives you things to work on as well. It's a lot of growth that can come from that. But and I always talk about, whenever your energy comes up, I always tell people, it is a matter, it's seeing things from that duality. We could either focus on the negative aspects of things, or we can balance that out. We acknowledge the negative aspect things, but we also focus on the positive, and how we can use that negative to fuel in more abundance, to level the playing field out, and getting the routine of doing that. But let's get some tarot on this. Thank you. Huh. Well, this is a bundle little pocket here, Gemini. Let's see what you got going on here. You got a lot going on here. All right. Oh, and then there's Libra. That's aggressive. So you got, and their opposite sign. I do like that. So you have the Emperor, the Justice card, and the Emperor's Aries. Justice card, Libra. The Judgment card, Pluto. And then you got the Ten of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, and then the Knight of Cups here. Let's begin with Libra. Let's just get this out the way. Because with this energy, Gemini, I'm getting more really of the kind of cause and effect that's going on here with the Justice card. It's paying attention to how our actions have brought about the situations that we're in now, and how the choices that we've made, and if this hasn't been contributing towards, if we don't feel like our cups have been filled, or that that we're feeling like we're, it's like if we're not feeling that this is what we saw, how we saw things going down, or that how we kind of pictured us being at our journey at this point. The Judgment card is like, what do we need to leave behind in order to get to that sense of completion? To get to kind of what do we need to do to wrap up this maybe previous cycle here, so that we can get to the Judgment card, close it out, and then start a new cycle again. Get to that Fool energy. But even thinking too, because Libra and Aries, they're opposite signs of the zodiac, and those form in like the aspects, those form oppositions, and oppositions are usually like either situations or people that kind of force us to make decisions, but also it's that kind of tough tension type of polarity type of energy here. But I do feel like there is going to be a need that if we're not it's like if we want this abundance, if we want this freedom, then we're going to need to really tap into this energy and take this changes into our own hands. You know, and then get into that nine of Pentacles energy and the Knight of Cups. You know, really kind of following your heart, following what really speaks to you, and then working on that so that you can feel in your Empress energy, because this the Nine of Pentacles is a pre-Empress energy. This is Venus in Virgo, and considering that you got both the signs here that Venus rules, Justice Libra and the Hierophant Taurus, you know you're halfway there, or you're almost there. And you got all we're missing is the Empress, and I feel that once we start making these steps towards our true happiness, you know, because I feel like sometimes with Gemini energy too, you kind of are like the chameleons of the zodiac. You really know how to, when it comes to like conversations and kind of reading others and things, you really can kind of pick apart sort of like the nuances of others and really kind of mold yourself to others. And where that is a great superpower, the double-edged sword of that is that sometimes we can kind of lose ourselves in other people's energies, and it can be hard to kind of find your identity again. So if you found yourself like maybe kind of feel like maybe doing something where it's like fulfilling like others' dreams or something along those lines, especially since Libra has been just hella aggressive, you know, just paying attention to how relationships with others really have shaped you. And I feel like it's more so of, because the Emperor's coming through real strong as far as like, you know, Aries is more so kind of where Libra deals with partnerships, Aries deals with self, you know, and that's where I feel like some of us need to be more kind of focused on self and really kind of coming into that energy. And when we do, then the Emperor will attract the Empress, you know, and then I like that. All right, Gemini, let me get this in order here, because that's dope. Look at you and all this syncing up with the energies. I like that. All right, let's get a drink and then let's talk about Taurus. Because with Taurus, you got both Jupiter and Uranus are about to be going retrograde here soon. You got let's talk about Uranus first, because Uranus will be retrograde in Taurus from the 28th of August until January next year, 2024, the 27th. And with this energy, Uranus deals with the future and embracing newness, uniqueness. You know, they rule over Aquarius here, the star card. And it's about really a cycle of embracing, more novel ideas and really thinking about how to contribute to society as well, because that's another thing. You know, Aquarius deals with like the collective, group friends on like a larger scale than Libra, you know, like groups and things along those lines. So thinking about how you can, and speaking of freedom, Uranus is all about freedom, you know, and all that in that aspect. So there's something to think about there, but also on a broader scale, because you know Taurus can deal with security foundations and things along those lines. You may see changes in like as far as like food sources, maybe changes in the stock market, or possibly even in the economy. So just something to be mindful of here while we're in that energy as well. And then you have Jupiter. Jupiter will be retrograde from the 4th of September until the 30th of December. And this kind of helps us adopt a more kind of practical approach towards our goals. So if we've noticed that things have been off track, or we haven't been feeling fulfilled or been feeling secure in where we're at on our journey, what can we do to make sure that we are really building things of value and really investing in things kind of, you know, like long term here, you know, because, you know, Jupiter is a sign of abundance, but, you know, Taurus kind of slows that abundance down a little bit, but it's making sure that we're investing it responsibly, so that it keeps flowing, you know, so that it's even when the energy dips, you at least got some cushion to kind of fall on there, Gemini. But let's get Let's get an oracle on this. Thank you. All right, Gemini, let's see what's going on here. Nice. All right, so you got the six. I like that. So you got the sixth card of Sagittarius here, which is the Castle card. Now, I like where your head's at, Gemini. That's how we invest. Jupiter would be happy about that. And this is a card of pride, recognition, position, praise for achievements, ego, wealth, ancestry, antiquity, history, legacy, architecture, power, prestige, isolation, the old guard, and timeless. And the energy that's coming through here, Gemini, is the power. And what I'm getting from this, I feel like it's because maybe for some, I feel like there is this, like, we're maybe underestimating ourselves and in what level of abundance and power that we really have to really shape our futures, you know? Maybe this is something where we've kind of maybe had others maybe kind of dictate what we can accomplish or what Ten of Cups looks like for us, or I don't know, or like maybe even like it might even be like how not even like it could either be that or it's like even but I do feel like there's this need to kind of like take a more kind of like a firm or like a more kind of like dominant approach in our journey, you know, where it's not like we're dismissing the ideas of others, but it's just more so about keeping your autonomy in that and not letting others maybe influence our decisions so much, you know. Again, finding that sense of that Six of Pentacles energy, that balance there, justice here. But because even too, just thinking about Pluto energy, Pluto deals with that too, you know, deals with that sense of power and things. And I do feel like there's like this old sense of you that there's something that's changing. I feel that maybe for some it's like still trying to find the words or trying to put my finger on what that is, but I feel like when we really kind of start taking, like, really tap into that Emperor energy and really start taking control of as far as like where life is trying to take us, I feel like that's really gonna help because you got Ten of Cups here, and the Castle card for me is very much about. It reminds me very much of the Ten of Pentacles. So, I like that, and really don't never doubt your power to manifest there, Gemini. But let me get some tarot on this and get a little more details. Thank you. Let's see what's going on here. Interesting. Okay. So you have the Three of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and then you have the Chariot here. And really just with this, with everything but the Chariot. Because I was like, I want to start with all of them, but they're all kind of coming into the same type of thing. Because Three of Pentacles and Five of Swords, Three of Pentacles is kind of like that collaborative energy, you know, when we're starting to work with others. And the Five of Swords deals with like the perspectives of others and like, you know, considering the opinions and things. And I feel that it's where, again, those opinions and things are valuable, you know, and they can help shape us and things. But I feel like we don't want it to get to this place where it's keeping us locked down or not being able to fully tap into our resources and keep us in our head where we feel like we can't do anything without either not even necessarily the guidance of others. Like, I'm almost even kind of getting, maybe for some there's either this codependency vibe, maybe it's on your part, Gemini, or maybe it's on people that we're dealing with, you know. But I do feel that if things have been getting to where, you know, your sense of, you know, autonomy and things are starting to get lost, you know, we might need to kind of pause and reevaluate about who's driving this chariot, you know, and remembering that they, again, like, where others can help show you the path, you're the one who gets to choose which way you go, even if it's against, you know, what others may have advised you to. And it may not be the best route, but you know what, that's for you to experience and for you to learn, you know. And where, you know, I forget, where others may have your best interest at heart, but you have to be able to fly free. And you know, it's that's all because the chariot, this is Cancer energy, and Cancer is a sign of experiential wisdom. My sun signs in Cancer, and it's you know, we take these situations that we learn from the past to apply them to present, to learn from the future. And it's I do feel that when we do start to kind of grab the reins on our journey again, you know, on our lives. And because listen, everybody could tell you how you can run things and how things should be gone and how things should be done, whatever, but they're not in your shoes. That's the thing. Otherwise, you know, otherwise we wouldn't be having a conversation. But it's yeah, just very, very fascinating energy here, Gemini. And I feel that it's, for some, we may be just considering at the chariot, the six of I think you had the 6 of swords, yeah, 6 of swords, even the 8 of wands. I feel like there's going to be some, there may be this energy of kind of moving on and maybe moving to a place where, and that might be something too here, Gemini. Just thinking that maybe it's like, maybe if this is like I'm almost seeing that this is more like kind of like a familial type of thing. You know, maybe this is like a time for thinking about maybe flying the coop, or you know, if there's like a certain like a living situation or something that doesn't seem to promote the growth that you're looking for, then it's time to move on, you know. And it's not, again, that we're not just cutting people off, but it's just like a, hey, you know, like it's been great, but I need to go experience life and kind of see what things have to offer, you know. And you know, make new bonds, you know, make new friends and kind of see and see what's in store for you here. But let me get a little bit more on this yeah. Let me get a little more on the 4 of Pentacles here, Gemini. Thank you. Let's see what's going on here, Gemini. Oh, there's your ruler. Oh, and there's Virgo. I dig that. So you got the Magician, Mercury, and then you got the Hermit, Virgo. And, you know, I do feel like with the Hermit that it's like there's a sense of needing to shine your own light. You know, it's kind of in, and I almost feel like it's a time to kind of be in a more kind of introspective type of state and to kind of really, really pay attention to what you've manifested into your world up until now and how you do manifest, and noticing how these choices have brought you to these certain situations here in life. And because that's very interesting that, you know, that the Magician and the Hermit would pop out like that. Mercury retrograde in in Virgo. Very auspicious energy there, Gemini. And I feel that you can, there's something here you have more power than you know. Especially we've been feeling that that we either can't make these decisions or something along those lines. But all right, Gemini, I'm gonna leave that one there. Yeah, that's that was really cool. I like that. But you're syncing up with the energies in the way, and I'm just, it's just realizing just how powerful of a manifester you really are there. But I remember I put your ruler. All right, let me get a little more tea and let's talk about Pisces energy, because you got Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. They're just gonna be chilling there for a while, but they're both retrograde right now. And Saturn's going to be, let's start Saturn, because Saturn's going to be retrograde until the 4th of November. And with this is a great energy to, I feel, to, I don't know, you got Neptune here, but with Saturn being retrograde, this is an energy of kind of like a cosmic interrogation, in a sense, because, Saturn can be a bit of a hard ass sometimes. But he's just kind of checking in, asking, like, what have you been doing to accomplish your dreams up until this point? And have you been fulfilling, not anyone else's dreams, but yours, Gemini? Because when you're out fulfilling your dreams, then that affects the collective, it affects, like, you're raising your vibration, you're giving, I don't know, it's a different type of energy, I feel, when Saturn is in Pisces. This is really, I feel like a really dope placement for Saturn to be, because Pisces is very imaginative energy, very dreamy, and I feel that it's Saturn's pretty much just like, you have all the tools you need, and I see you showed me your dream here, so let's manifest it, magician. Let's get things cooking, manifest that castle. So just something to think about there. But also too is a great energy, because Pisces is very spiritual, very psychic type of energy. They're the other sign of duality, besides yourselves. And it really is. I feel like when you can make that internal connection, when both the twins are on the same page here, magic happens, And I feel like it's really kind of making that internal connection and getting things all synced up very nicely there. And then you couple that with Neptune energy, which Neptune, she rules over Pisces along with Jupiter. She'll be retrograde until the 6th of December. And with this, this is just a really powerful energy of doing some really strong introspective work, and really doing that, asking ourselves those really kind of deep questions in life. Because, Neptune deals with, like, the hidden realms and things, like mysteries and illusions and such. But now she's retrograde. It's almost like the veil has been lifted. Now we have, like, a more sort of, like, direct connection with source and things. It's really groovy. I've been enjoying Neptune and Pisces, but it does something to be mindful of too. Now I'm kind of thinking about it is because Neptune can deal with kind of escapism and things along those lines. So we want to reflect on any sort of behaviors, whether this be maybe we're escaping in relationships, or maybe it's, however that might be looking. We just want to be mindful of that type of energy as well there, Gemini. And then depending on where your placements are at, this is also, just like with Virgo, this is going to be forming a square with your sign. So that's something we want to be mindful of as well. So you're in a kind of a weird sort of, might be feeling like the, situations and things, the universe might be pulling you every which way, but it's all trying to get you to this state of get your chariot on track there to where you want to be, so how can we, it's asking how can we alleviate some of this discomfort and some of this if we've been feeling this sense of unease or something along those lines, Gemini. But let's oh yeah, now I'm thinking that is a lot, Gemini, to deal with. But let's get an oracle on this. Yeah. Thank you. Wow. So I guess we're not done with the Libra energy yet. So you got the third card of Libras. I guess they were feeling neglected. So you got which is the cabin card. And this is a card of lonely, confined, detached, remote, secluded, go within, insulate, disengage, close off, kept apart, quarantine, island, segregate, separated, divide, disconnected, and sequestered. Interesting. And the energy that's coming through here, Gemini, is a quarantine. And I feel like what's going on here is that there's a need to hermit. You know, it's a need to kind of separate yourselves from other energies. And I know yours is a very, yours is a social sign, but there is that need to kind of go within to process all of this stuff that you've learned and that you've discussed and things, and really kind of find who you really are, what you want to accomplish, what your sense of it's just like finding who you really are, like is really what I'm getting with this energy. But I feel like it's gonna be hard to do that with because just thinking, if we are just again, but however these relationships might be kind of factoring into the mix here, Gemini, it there are times, even if we're in like a marriage or anything like that, where yes, again, where there are times where we grow together, and it's fantastic, it's lovely, but in order to bring that growth, there are times where we need to do separate work. Where everybody's got their own chariots that they're riding, their own dreams that they're trying to achieve, and it's just like it's checking out. Okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. How does that integrate now? Because everything we're always changing. Always going through judgment energy and things. There's something that's we're shedding old skin and coming into a new, the metamorphosis, but. Yeah, I do feel like, and it's not that I feel like that we're taking like an extended period of time or something, like, maybe like months and things, but it's just like if you could just find, even if it's just little pockets for you to just kind of be and just to kind of think and kind of process. Maybe this is through journaling, like taking some time, or, and if this is a partner, it's just like, hey, maybe like certain days throughout the week, just like I'm gonna take some time, and you do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing, and then we'll meet back and maybe we'll discuss this stuff, or maybe we won't, at least right now, and just like something along those lines. But and this might even be too, it's like maybe even it's might being paying attention to maybe even like the information that's flowing in, like let's say if we were like, as far as like what we listen to, as far as like maybe podcast or news or radio, anything like that, maybe even like it's, and again, it's not like we're just like choosing to not listen to, be aware or abreast of like any of the information that's happening, but just to kind of take a moment too, because Gemini, you have a very active mind, being Mercury ruled along with Virgo, and so there is a need to kind of take a moment and sit back and really kind of dive. I just went on a little mini scouting trip not too long ago, and trying to figure out next moves here. And I've gotten into this habit of journaling, and I hadn't journaled for a few days, and getting back, man, I filled that journal up quick, because I usually write about 3 pages a day, and it's nice to be able to just dump the thoughts out. Just it doesn't have to be anything specific, but that's just one of my things that I recommend, being Mercury ruled, just because of that overactive type of mind, to just to help you kind of process the stuff here. But let's get some tarot on this. Since you do have these cards of like travel, you like that I was talking about, the Eight of Wands, the Chariot, the Six of Swords, there may be a need to just like, and it doesn't have to be anything long term, but or like long distance, but this could be going to a park and just kind of doing some. Thank you. Doing some, just any type of meditation, or however that looks like, Gemini. But let me see what's going on here. Oh, and I love it. That's interesting. So you have a lot of swords, all this thinking energy. You got the Three of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Page of Swords, and then the Fool here, Gemini Uranus energy. And Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury, but I feel like with the Page of Swords, maybe we've been thinking a lot. There's been a lot going on in our heads. Maybe there's some stuff, because I feel like Nine of Swords and Three of Swords, and then you got Eight of Swords here at 1.2, Gemini, and that's one of your cards. So the fact that two your three minor arcana is you have in the minor arcanas, you have some very intense cards of the swords. Eight of Swords, the 8, 9, and 10 of Swords, they can be tough, but they just don't have to be seen as that. But the Nine of Swords can be a card of like living in a nightmare, that things seem to be just kind of be repeating themselves over and over and over again. There's either a certain idea, maybe from this Ace of Swords, or some sort of energies that like we need to heal from, maybe even possibly that it's like we want to take this new opportunities and take this new leaps, but in order for I feel like for us to really get that find this sense of closure, because it's like maybe we feel that if we've and that might be something too, Gemini. Maybe we've been thinking that if we kind of either maybe move from like relationship to relationship, or maybe move place to place, or maybe however this might look, that it might fix a problem, or something along those lines. But if we don't take a moment, I feel, and really kind of really sit with these thoughts and really kind of process these things, then it's like as soon as you get settled, it's just going to manifest in a different type of way. It might feel cozy for a second, but it's just like if you don't get down to the root cause of this stuff, with the Three of Swords here, it's one of Libra's cards. Yeah, I just feel like it's just going to keep staying in this state of, in a sense, almost like tarnish our new beginnings here. And if you've been noticing that you've been just kind of stuck in a cycle again and again, because that's interesting that you go from the Judgment to the Fool, and it's just like, there was no closure, something along those lines. There's something being missed with Saturn not being here. And that's interesting because the Three of Swords, this is Saturn in Libra. And so I feel like in order to find balance here, there's going to need to kind of sit down and figure out what is it that we may be missing. What is it that's holding us back? What thoughts. Yeah, I feel like a lot of more so internal questions that need to be kind of asked here, Gemini. But all right, I think I'm gonna leave that there. Interesting energy. Ooh, let's see. I'm gonna put, we're just gonna start stacking them. Well, no, hold on. While I'm trying to figure this out, Gemini, let's talk about the last energy here, which is Capricorn. And you got Pluto, Judgment cards in Capricorn. And with Pluto being in Capricorn, Pluto's going to be retrograde until the 10th of October. And with this energy, Pluto it's like asking yourself, like, what do we need to. Do we feel proud with what we've accomplished with the work that we've put in, Gemini? Because Capricorn is an energy of, they're a sign of accomplishments, success, achievements. And if we don't like, again, like where life has taken us, or just like what we've been, the level of abundance or maybe lack thereof, then it's just like, what can we do to change that? What steps need to be put into to really just kind of tip the scales in a different direction here, Gemini. But also you may notice too with this energy, just on a more kind of global scale, that there may be kind of shifts in governments and things along those lines. A lot of global change. When Pluto comes through and brings change, like Pluto means it. and it's gonna be an interesting time for the air signs over there. I mean, wherever you, if you know, if you have any air placements over these next once Pluto really gets settled in around Aquarius season, that it's gonna bring a lot of change. It's gonna be forming a trine with your sign, but that's Pluto's a little tricky with how that might look. So just something to think about there, Gemini. But let's get your last card here. Thank you. Nice. All right, because I was about to say, this is any more Libra. But you got the first card of Leo's here, which is the Knight card. And look at you. This is you reclaiming your power. I like that. Let's talk about this, because this Knight card, this is a card of confident, heroic, messenger, fearless, assertive, passionate, fighting spirit, persevering, chivalry, honor, determined, obeying orders, brave, daring, strong, and champion of a cause. So the energy that's coming through here, Gemini, is the determined. And I feel that there is a need to I almost feel like that there's it's almost like for some it's like we're determined to, like, if we're, how do I want to put this? It's like we're determined to try to achieve this sense of independence in things, but I just feel like it's paying attention to, like, how we're going about achieving this. Like, because it's very fascinating. I'm not sure if this is something where, if this is like a relationship, if there's something where someone is like is like determined to kind of keep you in this box, or keep you from really kind of, I don't know. It's like, it's not necessarily like I'm not getting like a strong, like, not like a malicious type of energy, but it's just like, it's almost like they like, it's like maybe for some it's like they've gotten to this standpoint where you may feel like a codependency type of thing, like where you feel like you can't do, where they've made you kind of feel like they can't do anything without you, or you can't do anything without them, or something along those lines. It's establishing, like, a, for some, just like a different sense of boundaries. But I do feel like that there's this, like, more so this determination for autonomy too with this energy. Like, there's a need to just want to come in and just carry your own flag, and kind of bring in the sunlight, and come in with this different level of confidence here. Just like, this is what I've accomplished, this is what I've done, this is, like, no matter how that's looking, and just like, at least that you were the one that sparked this change. And just showing that, because even if things do, because Gemini, that's all part of the balance. Even when we're working towards our goals, there's always going to be challenges, and but there's this thing too, that it's all just a learning process here, as far as like how we're is but as long as we keep that, like, the goal is, like, we want that independence, we want that feeling of, and it's not, again, that you don't need others, but it's just like, it's a knowing that if something were to happen, that you are able to kind of like land on your feet, or that everything is going to work out just fine, that the abundance really doesn't change much. How we may have to go about tapping into and getting it might change a little bit, might have to turn that horse a different direction, but it's still all around all the same. But it is keeping that level of, keeping that perseverance and that determination, and that fearlessness, that you will get this thing figured out here, Gemini. But let's get the last little bit of tarot cards here. Oh, get that one. Oh, okay. All right, last little bit here, Gemini. I like that, Gemini. That's dope. That's this all day. Because you got the Two of Wands here, and then you got the King of Pentacles. And let's switch egg over here. Let me tell you a little story, King. Because I feel that when we really do, Gemini, when you really do set your heart on something and set your energy towards the thing, where there's a will, there's a way. And I feel that when you're working on, building that sense of, building your own foundation, and because when you're working on yourself, Gemini, then that's going to attract, even like if as far as like partners and friends and things, that you attract the energy that you're in. If you're attracting that sense of that independence and that confidence, that achieving energy, then those are the energies that are going to be around you, and then those people will push you to greater bounds, and everyone kind of feeds off of each other there. And look at it, now you're forming a whole soul tribe there. And the King of Pentacles is all about that, not only just working on his stability, but providing this energy for others and that motivation for others, and teaching that, and again, you being a sign of communication and sharing these stories that you've gone through and these experiences, and taking what you've learned and applying it to wisdom here. Because I really like that, because this to me, it's like you really are, this is what we're working towards, feeling confident in our energies, and and I do feel like this is something that it really would, I feel your story could be, because we really are getting into a time of we're going to get into a really innovative energy over these next few years, and going forward, it's going to be a whole game changer. And I do feel like that your knowledge and your experiences can really help kind of shape the, in the grand scheme of things. Listen, I know I can over exaggerate like a little bit, but I feel like it's only over exaggeration until someone proves me wrong. So go ahead and I feel like I don't know, Gemini. Like, I think you really can, with this energy here, achieve some greatness here, and just kind of reflect on what stability kind of looks like for you, and then it's like taking that choice, or making that the decision there with the Two of Wands to, it's taking that action. And because you got a lot of energy of motion, and I feel like yours is one that I feel like the energies are trying to get you moving and keep you growing. And so that's fantastic. I think this Virgo season's looking pretty hot for you there. So maybe a little bit of little challenges along the way, but that's what builds that character. And you know what too, it shows this, brings this level of compassion and empathy too towards others who are going through the same thing. And you can share this. This is fantastic. But I think I'm gonna leave that there. So if you like that, Gemini, give it a thumbs up. And share this if you know someone who's been, just kind of been struggling, either with maybe in like a relationship or something. Because really, that Libra stuff was I didn't expect to talk as much about relationships as I did. But yeah, that was very, very interesting there, Gemini. And and tell all these King of Pentacles, tell all these emperors. I was the King of Pentacles. Ain't nothing wrong being the King of Pentacles, but I mean, you was an emperor here, Gemini. Tell all these emperors to subscribe, hit that bell button, get notified about all these videos each week. And then last little bit, look at you getting the hottest ticket to come over to my other channel. Not that you need it, but if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to the Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans, and it's a good old time. And all that housekeeping, down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here so I can get you out of here. That's interesting, Gemini, because you got the Seven of Wands here. And I feel with the Seven of Wands popping up. Seven of Wands can be a card of criticisms, and I feel like with some of these choices that we might be getting ready to make here soon, where we may need to be mindful of other people's opinions. It's one thing, it's like how I tell you at the beginning of the videos. You take what resonates with you and you leave the rest with them. And there's nothing wrong with that, and maybe there's stuff in, because what I like to do sometimes, people throw me some stuff, it's just like, that's some food for thought, and I just throw it in orbit and just kind of let it circulate. And then when it makes sense, it'll reappear, and it's just like, oh, perfect. I'm glad I saved it for this moment, But that's kind of what I feel like is coming through there. It's just making sure to protect our energies and to not let others sway your decisions so much. Like finding that balance of considering other people's thoughts along with yours as well, Gemini. But let me get your other oracle card. Alright, Gemini, I'm with it. And I like that. Because look at that, you got the Renew card up right here. And look, there's a brand new you. Brand new, I dig that. And I feel that's kind of what's happening here, like that. And I like that in combination here with the Judgment card. There's a renewal here, an opportunity for brand new beginning, change and growth, and new opportunities, new horizons, and just... again, that's a very strong kind of metamorphosis energy here, And I love that there's this butterfly on this on the Hierophant's belt here, because the butterflies are great energies, like how that transformation, how something can start off seem people don't really pay much attention to caterpillars and things kind of roaming around, but then when butterflies are about, it's just like, ooh, look at that, and that's what I feel like is getting ready to happen here. It's just like people are gonna be like, ooh, look at Gemini coming through in their energy looking all hot. Like just coming through and just feeling fresh and revived and inspired. So I think I'm going to leave that there. So you going on out there, Hierophant. And, but Gemini, stay safe out there. Just considering just all this stuff. And not that, again, I don't feel anything dangerous going on. But just like, just with people and things, just be mindful of that, Gemini. Stay safe out there. Raise your vibrations to the roof, because there's a lot to think about here. And like finding that confidence, that sense of autonomy and things, that can be a lot. And but man, it's gonna be, but won't you feel renewed? And I will catch you on the next one later.